A blind baby elephant was dying alone until a cat did something that no scientist could explain. But could this impossible friendship actually save his life? The rangers found him at sunrise near Tsavo East National Park. The baby elephant stood completely still in the red dirt, his eyes swollen shut with thick yellow infection covering his entire face. He was only 2 months old. His ribs stuck out through his wrinkled gray skin like prison bars. His trunk hung down like a dead rope. He didn't move when the rescue team approached. He didn't make a single sound. Dr. Emily Varden knelt down next to the tiny elephant. She had saved elephants for 15 years, but this one made her heart hurt in a new way. The infection in his eyes was terrible. Dirt and bacteria had destroyed them completely. This baby would never see again. But worse than that was the emptiness around him. Baby elephants never travel alone. Their mothers protect them every second. The only reason a baby is alone is if his mother is dead. They named him Baraka, which means blessing. But nothing felt blessed about his condition. The 4-hour drive back to the Nairobi orphanage was silent. Baraka lay in the truck without moving. His breathing was so quiet and slow that Dr. Varden kept her hand on his side to make sure he was still alive. At the orphanage, the doctors moved fast. They put medicine in his veins through tubes. They gave him special fluids to help him drink. They cleaned his infected eyes with gentle hands. But after 3 days of treatment, they knew the truth. Baraka would be blind forever. The damage was too deep. His eyes were destroyed. Most orphaned elephants want to live. They cry for their mothers. They drink milk from bottles. They play with toys. They make friends. Baraka did none of these things. For 8 days straight, he refused all food. The keepers tried everything. They warmed the milk to perfect temperature. They put honey on the bottle. They even tried to feed him through a tube down his throat. But Baraka would turn his head away. Sometimes, milk would drip from his mouth and he wouldn't even swallow. He never made a sound. Healthy baby elephants chirp and call and rumble. They talk all day long. Baraka was silent as stone. He stood in the corner of his pen, with his body pressed against the wall. At night, the keepers could hear him breathing, but nothing else. His body was alive, but his spirit was gone. Every day, Baraka got thinner. His skin hung loose. His temperature dropped. His blood tests showed he was starving and drying out from inside. The IV fluids kept his heart beating, but they couldn't replace real food forever. Dr. Varden called an emergency meeting. Everyone looked at the charts. Everyone saw the same thing. Baraka was dying, and nothing they did could stop it. Margaret Kyoko, the sanctuary director, said the words nobody wanted to hear. Sometimes, when an animal has given up completely, when suffering has no end, the kindest thing is to let them go to sleep forever. Dr. Varden couldn't accept this answer. Something about Baraka called to her. When she put her hand on his chest, his heart beat strong. When certain sounds happened, his ears moved just a tiny bit. Something was still there, buried deep under all that pain and sadness. She asked for 2 more weeks, 14 days to try everything possible, before giving up. The team didn't want to wait. They worried about making Baraka suffer longer for no reason. But Dr. Varden had saved so many elephants before that they trusted her. They gave her 2 weeks. That night, Dr. Varden sat in her office thinking. Medicine could fix infections and broken bones. But how do you fix a broken heart? How do you reach an animal who is hidden so deep inside himself that nothing can touch him? The answer wasn't in her medical books. She thought about the other animals at the sanctuary. Not just elephants, but all kinds of rescued creatures. Her mind kept going back to something she had heard about a special cat at the animal shelter nearby. A cat with an unusual gift. The idea seemed crazy and impossible. Everything in her training said it couldn't work. But as midnight came, Dr. Varden made a choice. Tomorrow, she would try something that had never been done before. Something that would either save Baraka or end her career forever. Dr. Varden walked into the Nairobi Animal Rescue Center just after sunrise. She had barely slept. Her mind raced with dangerous possibilities. The shelter manager, Maria Omondi, led her through rows of cages filled with barking dogs and meowing cats. At the very back, in a quiet corner, they stopped at a large pen. Inside was the most beautiful cat Dr. Varden had ever seen. His fur had brown and black stripes, like a wild tiger. His orange eyes were deep and smart. He sat perfectly still, watching them with calm attention. His name was Makuki, which means spear. He was 12 years old. Maria told Makuki's story. He had belonged to Dr. James Odhiambo, a wildlife doctor who had died from a heart attack 3 weeks ago. For 12 years, Makuki had gone everywhere with Dr. Odhiambo. He had visited wildlife hospitals and research camps. He had been around lions, birds, monkeys, and every kind of animal. But Makuki was special in a strange way. He could sense when animals were hurt or scared. He would sit near them quietly, never hunting, never threatening, just being there like a friend. Maria showed Dr. Varden videos on her phone. In one clip, Makuki lay next to a frightened puppy until it stopped shaking. In another, he sat by a wounded bird for hours, purring softly. The cat seemed to understand pain in a way most animals don't. But since Dr. Odhiambo died, Makuki had stopped eating much. He stared out the window toward his old home. His eyes looked sad and empty. He was grieving just like Baraka was grieving. 2 broken hearts, 1 elephant, and 1 cat. Dr. Varden explained her plan. She wanted to bring Makuki to meet Baraka. Maria's face went pale. She listed all the dangers. Elephants are afraid of predators. Even a baby elephant could kill a cat with 1 swing of his trunk. A cat might trigger panic in Baraka's blind confusion. The stress could kill them both. They talked for an hour. Dr. Varden showed Maria the videos of Makuki's gentle behavior. She explained that Baraka was dying anyway. Traditional treatments had completely failed. They had nothing left to lose. Finally, Maria agreed to let Makuki try, but only with constant supervision and safety measures. The drive back to the elephant orphanage was quiet. Makuki sat in his carrier, calm and still. His orange eyes watched the road. Dr. Varden found herself talking to him, explaining about the blind baby elephant who needed help. The cat's ears twitched like he was listening. At the orphanage, Dr. Varden gathered her team. Sarah Kamau, the head elephant keeper, turned red with anger as she heard the plan. She said it was insane and dangerous. A cat near a traumatized elephant could cause disaster. Baraka might panic and hurt himself. He might accidentally crush Makuki. The risks were enormous. The argument lasted over an hour. Everyone had concerns about safety and the sanctuary's reputation, but Dr. Varden stood firm. Baraka was dying slowly right now. This was his only chance. At worst, the introduction would fail and nothing would change. At best, 2 grieving souls might save each other. Finally, the team agreed to try once with maximum safety. They prepared the observation room next to the clinic. They set up cameras everywhere. They planned escape routes. They put the whole medical team on standby. Dr. Varden spent time with both animals separately. She sat with Baraka, talking softly, even though he didn't respond. Then she sat with Makuki, whose steady purr seemed to say he understood something important was about to happen. The sun was setting when everything was ready. Dr. Varden stood at the observation room door, holding Makuki's carrier. Her heart pounded. In the next few minutes, they would either see a miracle or witness a tragedy. She took a deep breath and opened the door. Dr. Varden opened the carrier door. Makuki stepped out slowly, his paws silent on the floor. He looked around the room carefully, his whiskers twitching as he smelled everything. Across the room, Baraka lay curled against the wall, shaking slightly, blind to everything happening around him. Makuki did something strange. Instead of exploring like most cats would, he walked straight to a spot 15 feet from Baraka and sat down. He wrapped his striped tail around his paws. Then he started to purr. The sound was soft and low. The humans watching through the window could barely hear it, but Baraka heard. His ears, which had been flat against his head for days, suddenly moved forward. His shaking stopped. For the first time since the rescue, Baraka lifted his head like he was searching for something. Dr. Varden held her breath. Makuki kept purring, steady and calm, like a motor. The sound filled the room with gentle vibration. Baraka's blind eyes were still closed with infection, but his ears turned like radar dishes, trying to find where the sound came from. For 20 minutes, neither animal moved. Makuki sat purring. Baraka listened with his head up. The desperate, hopeless look on the baby elephant's face changed. He was paying attention to something for the first time in over a week. Then Makuki stood up and stretched. But he didn't walk straight toward Baraka. Instead, he walked in a big circle around the edge of the room. His paws made tiny clicking sounds. His purr never stopped. He was letting Baraka track him with sound, helping the blind elephant understand where he was without being scary. Baraka's trunk, which had hung dead for days, started to move. Small movements at first, like he was feeling the air. His head turned as he followed the sound of Makuki walking. His big ears worked hard to build a picture in his mind of this strange new visitor. When Makuki finished his circle, he sat down again, 3 feet closer than before. Again, he purred and waited, giving Baraka time to get used to this new distance. The team watching from outside couldn't believe what they were seeing. This cat seemed to understand exactly how to approach a blind, traumatized elephant. Sarah Kamau whispered in shock as Baraka's trunk reached out into the space between them. The elephant wasn't reaching for Makuki exactly. He was testing the air, trying to smell what this creature was. His trunk moved slowly, uncertain, like he had forgotten how to explore the world. Makuki stayed perfectly still. He let Baraka investigate without moving even a whisker. His orange eyes were half closed. His whole body said he was safe and friendly. When Baraka's trunk came within 2 feet, Makuki made a new sound, a soft, chirping trill, like a friendly greeting. Baraka's whole body relaxed. His breathing got slower and deeper. His trunk kept moving through the air in gentle waves, gathering smells, trying to understand. After several minutes, Baraka made a sound that brought tears to everyone's eyes. A small, quiet chirp. The first sound he had made since arriving at the sanctuary. Makuki answered right away with his own chirp. Back and forth they went, cat and elephant talking in their own special language. For an hour, this continued. Makuki would chirp or trill. Baraka would answer with small sounds. Slowly, the baby elephant uncurled his body, showing interest in something outside his own sadness for the first time. Then Makuki moved 1 foot closer. When Baraka's trunk reached out this time, it touched the cat's striped fur. Both animals froze. The elephant's trunk tip rested gently on Makuki's back. The cat's purr got stronger. He didn't move, letting Baraka explore the feeling of soft fur and warm body. Dr. Varden watched as Baraka's trunk began to move with more confidence. He traced along Makuki's spine, over his head, around his body. The elephant was making a map with touch, learning what his new friend felt like. Makuki sat patiently, sometimes rubbing his head against Baraka's trunk, in a gesture that said he cared. 2 more hours passed. Neither animal wanted to stop. Makuki lay down next to Baraka, parallel to his body. His purring seemed to calm the elephant like magic. Baraka's breathing matched the rhythm of the cat's purr. When the staff tried to end the session, they discovered a problem. Neither animal wanted to separate. Baraka's trunk rested on Makuki's body. The cat pressed close to the elephant's side. Taking Makuki away would upset them both. Dr. Varden made a choice that broke all the rules. Makuki would stay with Baraka all night, with humans watching every minute to keep them safe. As darkness came, something amazing happened. Baraka fell asleep. Real, peaceful sleep for the first time since his rescue, and curled against his side, purring through the whole night. Makuki kept watch. Morning light came through the windows. Dr. Varden walked in quietly with a bottle of milk. What she saw made her stop walking. Baraka was sitting up, a position he hadn't held in weeks. Makuki was curled in the space between the elephant's front legs. Both were awake. Makuki was licking Baraka's trunk, cleaning it like a mother cat cleans her babies. The elephant sat perfectly still, letting the cat groom him. Small rumbling sounds came from Baraka's chest that sounded like happiness. When Makuki finished, he chirped softly and walked toward the corner where the food was kept. It was like he knew exactly what needed to happen next. Dr. Varden moved slowly, speaking in a gentle voice. Makuki pressed his body against Baraka's shoulder and started purring. When Dr. Varden held up the milk bottle, expecting Baraka to turn away like always, something wonderful happened. Baraka's trunk reached out, following the sound of Makuki's purr, and wrapped around the bottle. The baby elephant drank. Not much at first, just a few small sips. But with Makuki purring and bumping his head gently against him, Baraka drank a quarter of the bottle. It was the first food he had wanted since the rescue. Hope rushed through the whole sanctuary like wildfire. Over the next days, Makuki and Baraka became inseparable. The cat stayed with the elephant almost every second. He only left for short times to eat his own food or use his litter box. But more than just being there, Makuki seemed to understand that Baraka needed a guide. He took that job with incredible intelligence. Makuki created a whole system of sounds to help Baraka. A low, steady purr meant everything was safe and they could rest. A higher trill meant it was time to eat. Short chirps warned when something was moving nearby. Most amazing of all, when Baraka needed to walk, Makuki would position himself just ahead of the elephant. His purring created a sound beacon that Baraka could follow like a lighthouse in the dark. Sarah Kamau, who had fought against this idea at first, now spent hours watching and recording their friendship. She saw how Makuki used his body to guide Baraka. The cat would press against the elephant's legs to show him which way to turn. He would sit directly in Baraka's path when danger was ahead. Baraka got stronger every day. His ribs stopped showing. His skin got smooth and healthy. Within 2 weeks, he had gained back all his weight, but the emotional change was even bigger. Baraka's personality came out. He was curious and gentle. He started exploring with Makuki as his guide, his trunk touching objects while the cat purred encouragement. The baby elephant even began to play, picking up toys and waving them while Makuki batted at them with his paws. Scientists were amazed by what they saw. Makuki had created a complete support system for a blind elephant using sound, touch, and smell. The cat would rub against certain spots in their pen, leaving his scent as markers. This helped Baraka build a mental map of his world. The elephant could find his water, his food, and his sleeping spot by following Makuki's scent trails. News spread fast. Videos of Makuki guiding Baraka went viral on the internet. Millions of people around the world watched the striped cat leading the blind elephant, sleeping curled against his legs, grooming him with gentle licks. The story touched hearts everywhere and taught people about how smart and caring animals can be. Months passed. Baraka grew bigger and stronger. Makuki changed his methods as the elephant got larger. The cat would jump on platforms at different heights, creating sound signals that helped Baraka understand the space around him in 3 dimensions. The sanctuary had to plan for their future. Baraka's blindness meant he could never go back to the wild. His need for Makuki created a situation no one had dealt with before. After talking with wildlife experts from around the world, they made a special decision. They would build a permanent home for both animals at the sanctuary. The habitat would have paths with different textures, water features that made sounds, and everything Baraka needed to navigate with confidence. The place would also be a research center where scientists could study their amazing friendship. Both animals had transformed completely. Makuki, who had been sad and empty after his owner died, found new purpose in caring for Baraka. His health improved. His fur became shiny and thick. His orange eyes were bright and alert again. Taking care of Baraka had healed the cat's broken heart. Baraka, the blind baby, who had been hours from death, grew into a healthy, happy young elephant. His blindness was still real, but it didn't stop him anymore. With Makuki always nearby, Baraka learned to avoid obstacles, recognize voices, and play with other young elephants. On warm evenings, visitors could see them together. A growing elephant walking confidently through his home, guided by the purring of a striped cat sitting on a nearby rock. Their story proved something beautiful about healing and love. Sometimes the friend who saves you looks nothing like you. Sometimes salvation comes from the most unexpected place, with 4 paws and a loyal heart that refuses to let you suffer alone. In the end, medicine and science didn't save Baraka's life. It was the unwavering loyalty of a cat who understood that no one should face grief alone, and that healing begins when 2 broken souls find each other in the darkness.